required by the Open Public Meetings Act as follows. On December 31st, 2025, notice was emailed and faxed to the Daily Record, the North Star Ledger, the West Morris Reporter, and published in the Daily Record. Notice shall also remain posted throughout the year on the bulletin board in the main hallway of the municipal building.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilwoman Albrecht. Here. Councilman Carey.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Here.
Councilman Filippo.
Here.
Councilman Hall.
Here.
Councilman Riley.
Here.
Mayor Patillo.
Here. You might have noticed that we went a little out of order in the agenda today. Tonight I have the honor of opening this meeting by recognizing the retirement of a truly dedicated public servant and a remarkable member of the Roxbury Township family. After 33 years of service to our community, Roxbury Township Fire official Mike Pellick walked out of Town Hall on Friday, May 15th for his final time as a township employee. While his official service may be coming to an end, the impact he's made on this community will last generations. Mike began his career serving Roxbury Township in 1993, and over the course of more than 3 decades has responded to over 4,000 fire calls and conducted 322 structure fire investigations. Throughout his career, he has exemplified courage, professionalism, and an unwavering commitment to protecting the residents of Roxbury Township. His service has been recognized time and time again. In 2000, he received the Outstanding Bravery and Heroic Efforts Award for rescuing 2 infants from a structure fire. In 2012, he was honored for his exceptional efforts during Superstorm Sandy. In 2014, he received the Life Saving Award. And in 2023, the township recognized the Roxbury Township Fire Prevention Bureau Unit for achieving no fire-related fatalities in Roxbury from 2000 through 2023, an extraordinary accomplishment that speaks volumes about Mike's leadership and dedication. In addition to his service here in Roxbury, Mike was named Firefighter of the Year at Company 2 Netcon Hilltop and received the Byram Township Life Saving Award in 2023. Beyond his professional accomplishments, Mike's commitment to helping others extends deeply into the community. In 2022, Mike and his wife Jackie founded 403 Reasons to Run Foundation, an organization dedicated to honoring and supporting first responders, their family, and members of the community facing life-changing hardships and challenges. Mike, there are simply not enough words to fully express the gratitude this community feels for you and your decades of service, sacrifice, and leadership. On behalf of the Township Council, our residents, and an entire grateful community, thank you for everything you have done in Roxbury Township. Please join me in thanking Fire Official Mike Pellick for his extraordinary service.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mike, is there anything you'd like to say?
Oh, Lord.
I really don't have anything prepared to say. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve the Township of Roxbury. As you know, it's one of the greatest communities we have. To work alongside the best fire department I know that we have, and the Fire Prevention Bureau. And I hope I'm leaving it in a little better place than when I started. And I'm full capable hands at the next fire official, and the crew that we have will do the same thing. I couldn't have done it all without the support of the mayor, the council, the public, township managers, my wife and my family, my friends that are here, and all the fire chiefs. They're my Roxbury family. They'll always be my Roxbury family. I'm not gonna, go away. They'll always be able to reach and touch me. So I just want to say thank you for this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike. Although you and I, we've only been in an official capacity for about 4 years now. You have been in my life since I was a teenager, and I thank you and Jackie for being a part of my life and making it better. So thank you. Is there anyone else on council? Yep. Deputy Mayor?
Mike, seeing firsthand, the fire prevention unit and your staff and the things that you've done over the years is just fantastic. I think with your leadership and explaining to the public, explaining to me things that I wouldn't know, and the way that you were able to do them and make change, I think was fantastic. I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Mike, thank you from the bottom of my heart. One of those 2 infants that he rescued just recently got engaged. And thank you for always supporting me and my family.
My pleasure. Thank you.
That's all I can say.
Mike, I've been up here for quite some time, and I started on this council when I was elected in '99, and a few years after that on the planning board, and you've been here forever. You really have. You're one of the few people that I've seen since the beginning of my career here at Roxbury Township. You were the go-to guy, Mike. You're always a very, very approachable man. Always did outstanding work for the community, and we're all very proud of you, Mike. We really are. You'd be very, very hard to replace, and the work you've done for this community is just outstanding. So please come back and visit us at any time. Take care, Mike.
Thank you, Fred. Appreciate it.
Hey, Mike,
Hey,
how many
John.
meetings have we had together? 29 plus years, right? You've done a great job throughout. You've been in a very difficult position at times because our fire chiefs are changing, every 4 years, roughly completely changed. But there's a yearly change that goes along with it. And because of your leadership with fire prevention, you've been able to make that seamless, along with our great chiefs, who many are here tonight, to make that happen. Without that, it really strengthened the bond between not only this council and the fire department, but everything that we've been able to accomplish with the fire department. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Joe.
Councilman?
Just quickly, Mike, I don't know you like 30 years like these guys do, but the work you guys do in the community, you and your wife, the foundation you run, I don't know how many people know that the money that you raise to help is just extraordinary. So, and I want to wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you.
And pretty much say, like, you're gonna be sorely missed.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
Mike, I really appreciate you welcome me. You're so level-headed and you don't stress, and you really taught me the Roxbury way. This is my first time dealing with a volunteer fire department, and you talked to me about the pros and cons. You've advocated for the men and women in the fire department, advocated for updated equipment. I'm sorry you're not going to see the new fire officer vehicle that is on order.
Well, I'll see it. I'll be back.
Oh, you'll see it. I don't know. I mean, you could probably still, do a good arm wrestle against Mark over there, but
I'll give you a ride, I think.
we'll see. But I also want to thank Jackie, because none of this happens in public service solo. Jackie, thank you. Oftentimes it's our family who has to deal with being gone all the time, and so I just want to make sure I took the time to thank you for your dedicated service to Roxbury Township through Mike. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Mike, I'd like to thank you very much for everything you've done for Roxbury, and it's funny how the manager picked up that Jackie is the backbone as well in such a short period of time, because I've known that for all these years. Thank you for everything. You're going to be missed. I have a problem, girl, so thank you. Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Senator?
Mike, you have always been utmost professional. Your knowledge of firefighting, fire safety and education, is second to none. And whenever there was an issue that I had a question about, and you were involved, I didn't have a second thought or worry in the world, because I knew, number one, you'd be prepared, number two, you'd have to be the most recent and complete understanding of the issue, and I knew that if push came to shove and I had to use you as a witness, your testimony would be stellar. So, congratulations to you. You've had a great career, but stay involved. You know, when you're at the top of the mountain, it's great to be there, and you're there. In your profession, you're there. But train those younger guys. Make sure that they understand the enormous responsibility that's on their shoulders. Because you have done it with great respect to the fire service, and you received the respect back from your peers. So thank you and good luck.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you. This moves on to
Hey, Mayor,
presentations.
we're gonna say something real quick, if you don't mind.
Absolutely, gentlemen, come to the front.
Sorry, most of the people in this room know Mike Pellick, right? Everyone has said, pretty much taken everything that we were gonna say, or myself was gonna say, but, selflessness, that's what Mike has. I've been in the fire service a long time, met Mike a long time ago. It's really sad to see him go. Mark, I know is gonna fill those shoes because they're big shoes to fill, but he's a big guy, so I know he'll handle it. I'm getting choked up, Mike, because it's, other than just the working relationship, we've had a very good family bond relationship, and we're gonna miss you real dearly, so stay around, and there's always an application for the 5-mile radius for the Roxbury Fire Department.
We're further than that.
Not a
I'm moving.
So Mike, congratulations. You
For sale
deserve
signs
it.
going up.
And I'll see you when I'm 58. I got, you know.
We'll see each other on the golf course this summer.
That too. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
So, everybody said very many good words. The one thing I can say is, Mike, you're a friend to the fire department here, and we appreciate that. So, thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Chief. Item 4, presentations award, etc. I'm going to continue to dissect this agenda. I'm going to pull up resolution 2026-125, a resolution appointing Mark Sylvester as fire official in the Township of Roxbury Fire Prevention Bureau effective May 15th, 2026.
Make a motion. Second.
Any discussion?
I just want to say, just to echo some of the words already, it's great that we had such a deep bench that we're able to go, and we have tremendous experience ready to go. So, congrats. Thank you.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Albrecht.
Yes, and welcome.
Councilman Carey.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Yes, and welcome.
Councilman DeFilippo.
Yes.
Councilman Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Riley.
Yes.
Mayor Patillo.
Yes. Congratulations, Mark.
You ever had the last guy?
Can you do me a favor, stand up? And just your mark, can you stand in his back? Stand up. Just stand up.
Moving on to item 5, approval of minutes, May 12th, 2026, and May 19th.
I'll move both sets of minutes, the correction was sent out for the May 12th meeting.
I'll second.
Tom? Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilwoman Albrecht.
Yes.
Councilman Carey.
I'm gonna abstain because I missed one of them. I forget which one it was.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Yes.
Councilman DeFilippo.
Yes.
Councilman Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Riley.
Yes.
Mayor Patillo.
Yes for May 12th, no for May 19th. Or abstain from May 19th, I'm sorry. All right, this brings us to our first public portion. Does anybody in the public wish to be heard on township business? Please come to the microphone, state your name and address. 3 minutes and 1 appearance per individual.
Bonnie Rosenthal Vandolph, was at your guys' community meeting last week as well as the landing one. I wanted to commend you guys for having those meetings, number one. Number two, I want to commend you guys for allowing folks to ask questions and answering as best you could. One important recommendation. I know you guys don't want the community necessarily knowing what's going on to the largest extent. You share it here with us, but the entire community to know what's going on with the detention facility. But I would strongly recommend you share it with the community. I think that helps you guys as leaders of people not coming back and saying, why didn't you tell us? Not to mention the fact that I've heard from a number of people saying, I thought it was resolved. And also, please, as leaders, and I'm not criticizing anybody, I'm saying, please share it with the community, please, so that the community knows. Thank you.
Thank you.
Suzanne Oliver, 21 King Road, Landing, New Jersey. I haven't checked, but I sent you an email. I asked you to update the town website and give an update in layman's terms as to what was going on with the lawsuit. Have you had a chance to do that?
Website's up to date.
With layman's terms?
The website's up to date.
That was my question. With layman's terms, people don't understand legalese.
Who doesn't understand?
Well, I can probably, I don't understand.
The website is up to date.
With legalese, is it updated with layman's terms? Did you put a press release out? Did you put anything out there?
My statement is up on there. That pretty much expresses everything.
From the.
My statement is up there.
Okay, good. I'll check. From the summary from the court case. That's what I'm asking about.
The website is up to date.
All right. I'll check.
Anybody else? Seeing none, I'll close the public.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Killian and I live in Chester, which is sort of in your backyard. I've attended one of these meetings before. I did not speak at that one before, but I wanted to speak briefly tonight. I know time is limited. I wanted to share with you about the Roxbury facility that's been proposed, having just been at Delaney Hall, and with everything going on there. I would encourage you, if you haven't been down there, to go, because that's what you're facing having right here. And this meeting started, it was really lovely, thanking the firefighter who is retiring after years of service. And you want your town to be known for good things, right? You want Roxbury to have a good reputation. If this facility gets up and running, Roxbury will be known for very, very bad things. It will be in the press all the time. There will be protesters here all the time. There will be family members here all the time. There will be all sorts of people and eyes on you all the time. All the concerns that people from Roxbury have raised before are totally valid, about the traffic, about congestion, about press. Yesterday, the road kept getting blocked. Buses couldn't go through. Trucks couldn't go through. Right? That's what you're facing here as well. So in addition to all the human rights violations that are going on that would be happening in your town under your watch, without you being able to supervise or monitor or do anything about them because they'll be at the federal level, you will have all of the nuisance and the quality of life issues. What it does to property values, I can't even imagine, because this was in a really big industrial park. But here, Roxbury is different. The way that Roxbury is set up and how close houses are gonna be to this facility, it's gonna be an absolute nightmare. So I hope you are working as hard as you possibly can to stave this off and to really think through all of the ramifications at all of the levels for your town. And I am concerned as a neighbor because it's gonna affect our traffic, our water, everything in our town as well. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a second public portion in a few minutes. We'll have another one. All right, I'm going to close this public portion. Reports of council liaison representatives, council committees, new and old business. Last week, I was not at our neighborhood meeting because I was at the New Jersey Conference of Mayors in Atlantic City, and had a great opportunity for 2 days to engage with other mayors around the state. We had some great discussions on AI, affordable housing, insurance costs in New Jersey for municipalities, utility management as far as water and sewer, and sat in on some subcommittees for land use and affordable housing, as well as discussed some bills that are in front of the Assembly and the Senate. It was a great experience. It's nice to know that a lot of mayors are going through the same thing, and I was very happy I was able to attend. Yesterday we had a Memorial Day ceremony. I want to thank a few people. Started off by the parade committee. Mike Mangano, chairman, Michelle Holleran, Caitlin House, thank you for being on that committee. Our VFW Post 2833, thank you very much. Home Depot in Succasunna, MD Manufacturing, Jim Albrecht, Councilwoman's husband. Our Roxbury Township Police Department, Fire Department, Public Works and Recreation, thank you guys, and the teams, everything that they do. All the scouts that participated yesterday, they always add such a nice little touch to it. And then all the guests, the room was packed, and it was nice to see so many people that came out to recognize our heroes. So thank you. That's all I have, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Memorial Day, even though we didn't have the parade, it was a fantastic event. I want to thank Mark Beasley of MB Manufacturing, who engraved, I think it was 7 more names at our memorial, which is just fantastic. I want to thank Home Depot. I went there the day before Home Depot cleaned up the area. Between them, Steve, your group and stuff, the place looked beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's just a shame that it rained. Although I will tell you that after the sun cleared a little bit, and there were people going over and seeing the memorial, so that was fantastic. Also, we had a week or so ago the Lake Apacon Foundation block party, which was fantastic. Beautiful weather. Would have been a great day for a parade on that. Very well attended. A lot of fun. And tonight we had a EDC meeting, and just want to report that we are looking at new websites. The websites will be up in July. EDC website will follow more like the township website, but the township website will also be changed around a little bit. So we'll be looking forward to that. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilwoman Albrecht?
Thank you. Our Memorial Day celebration was beautiful, and I'm so happy that the turnout was as great as it was. And I also want to remind everybody that this Friday, we have our annual beach blast out on Horseshoe Lake with a fun band and fireworks afterwards. So come on out and join me. Thank you. That's it.
Councilman Hall?
Thank you, Mayor. A few things. On May 13, we had some replantings at Horseshoe Lake. Big thanks to Steve. Steve, really good job organizing that whole scenario. We planted 60 bushes in that area all around Horseshoe Lake. Mayor and I did the best we possibly could in getting those things to the ground as quickly as possible. But Steve, really great job in coordinating that with Raritan Headwaters Association. Those people are great, by the way. If you ever have a chance to meet with those people, they do a great job. I agree on the Lake Apacon block party. It was very well attended. It was a beautiful day, great event. Agree on Memorial thing I would just like to add on the Memorial Day parade is there's a big pivot. You know what I mean? You know, everyone wanted it outside. We all wanted it outside, but we had to pivot inside in order to get that done. And it really turned out very well. So to all the people that were involved in moving the entire event inside, congratulations. You did a great job. We had a fishing derby on May the 17th. More kids than ever were involved in that. The same day was a color fun run. Every year Rotary has this. It's just an absolutely wonderful event. And they determined the recipients, and they had some real valid recipients this year. And they raised money for a very, very good cause. I have to say probably Mr. Riley and I got helping more than most along the way. And as well as the mayor was also there at that particular time. Jim, you have any comments on it?
Yeah, in a minute.
We also had the Taste of Roxbury. I'll let Bob talk about that. Another great event.
Because it's about food.
The food there was absolutely fantastic. It really was. As Councilwoman Albrecht just mentioned, we have one of the largest events happening in the next couple days, May 29th on Friday night. That's our annual beach blast, and it's going to have a 250th theme to it, anniversary of our country. So it starts at 6, ends around 10 o'clock. The fireworks will begin at dusk. I would say probably around 9:15. The main start is about 7 o'clock. We're going to have a flag relay going all the way around the perimeter of the Horseshoe Lake facility, and then we'll have a procession, some speeches, and we'll kick off the night from there. But it should be a great event. It's free, so please, if you get an opportunity on Friday night, please come out. It's going to be great. Fireworks will be great. Again, the fireworks are completely donated at that point. We have a lot of great sponsors. Was one of those sponsors to get us those fireworks. Also, we have some great themes at that event, the 250th anniversary. We're going to be burying some time capsules within Roxbury Township. The mayor's going to help me out with some dates for that in the near future. So we're going to be burying those with time capsules to be open in 50 years. Lots of things happening that night. Really great event. If you get an opportunity, please go to that. And then, lo and behold, that Monday we have our annual 5K race that will be at Horseshoe Lake Complex. And that is all for me, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Riley?
Yeah, I'd be remiss if I didn't also mention the Memorial Day services. We want to talk about how great this township is, and many of these events point exactly why this township. And I was shocked by the number of people, from children to seniors to veterans, thank you, Mr. Cluster, that showed up to attend this service indoors on a rainy day, rainy, cool day. It was amazing. It was well done. I'd like to thank the committee and everybody involved. The mayor pretty much covered it, but I think it's really great. The Color Fun Run by our Rotary and Interact Club, which is our high school equivalents to the Rotary. The mayor was nice enough to call out the people that threw the color, to point out that Fred and I were walking in there, because I had my granddaughter, so she was a casualty as well. And they used 7 toothpicks from purple out of my left ear and 5 from blue out of my right ear. But it was a great time. We had a lot of fun. And, again, another great event in township. The block party was, that happens in Roxbury Township. Back on State Park is in Roxbury Township, and the foundation is in the township as well. The foundation is great. This is another great event put on every year. Probably one of the better days that we've had for this event. Those years we
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilwoman Albrecht. Yes. Councilman Carey.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Yes.
Councilman DiFilippo.
Yes.
Councilman Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Riley.
Yes.
Mayor Patillo.
Yes. Councilman DiFilippo?
Just a couple of quick things, still more, there's even more stuff that's going on that people haven't known about. The Chamber of Commerce put on Taste of Roxbury last month, the 18th, it was sold out, it's sold out every year. Food was fabulous, the people were great, it's just great to be surrounded by so many Roxbury residents, and so it was just a terrific meeting. And the money raised goes to help our local businesses, and our community. So, the chamber does terrific work and easily move from there to later in the week, the Rotary has its auction, it does this annual auction, raises tons of money, and that money gets pumped right back into the community. It was a lot of fun, and it was at the firehouse, the newly renovated firehouse, room, right, that big conference room. It's, so if you're looking to rent a party room, you wanna go talk to, company boss.
It's on our website.
It's like,
It's on our page.
it was a paid advertisement. That's it for me, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Carey?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We don't have anything this evening. The next Board of Education meeting is in June, and I'll report back when that meeting materializes.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Reminder to vote on June 2nd. It's the primary election, so.
Thank you. Mr. Manager?
Yes, for the council and the public, I've made a pledge, and I will continue to go up to the facility every week like I did, and no construction has started. I told the council and the public that I would keep you informed. I was up there this afternoon, and there's been no work done up there for the fencing. I don't know if they've installed a camera or something. As close as I got, there's been no work.
Thank you very much. Matters requested referred by council members, managers, attorney, and clerk. We have 2 items. All in favor? Aye. Both parties are approved. I'll see you down there. All right, introduction of proposed ordinance 13-26, an ordinance to amend the supplement chapter 2, Administrative Code, section 2-17, Officer and Employees General of the revised general ordinance of the Township of Roxbury, County of Morris, State of New Jersey. Motion introduced.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Yes, sir, they've been verified. I appreciate the support.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Albrecht. Yes. Councilman Carey.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Yes.
Councilman DiFilippo.
Yes.
Councilman Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Riley.
Yes.
Mayor Patillo.
Yes. Hearing and adoption on ordinance on second reading, there are none. Item 11, introduction and adoption of resolutions.
Move 2026-124 to include 2026-125 through 2020.
We already did one.
So it's 2026-124, to include 2026-126 through 2026-132. Apologize.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilwoman Albrecht.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilman Duplo.
Yes.
Councilman Ball.
Yes.
Councilman Riley.
Yes.
Mayor Patillo.
Yes. Item 12, personnel change, there are none. 13, communications, May 22nd, 2026, any discussion? Any discussion on communications, May 22nd? Moving on. This brings us to our second public portion. Does anybody in the public wish to be heard on any topic? Please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. 3 minutes, 1 appearance per individual.
Hi, it's been a while. Spring Green Montague. So, you mentioned that the website is up to date, and you were asked whether or not it was explained in layperson's terms, and you just repeated that it was up to date. So, here's an example of what we mean by that. So, this is a weekly newsletter that we send out to an email list of 2,000 people to explain what's going on with Roxbury and give the latest updates. Just as an example, victory in court this week, but the fight continues, explained by our legal counsel. We are pleased to let you know that there was a tremendous victory this week in the lawsuit by the New Jersey Attorney General in Roxbury Township against DHS, seeking to block the conversion of the Roxbury warehouse into an ICE detention facility. The core claim brought by the AG in the township is that DHS ignored its responsibility pursuant to the National Environmental Policy Act to perform an in-depth assessment of the effects on the local environment, including water supply, sewage capacity, water and air pollution, and traffic. This is a pattern that DHS has repeated in each of the locations where it has purchased warehouses, and state and local governments are fighting back by bringing lawsuits. In particular, the AG and Township had requested that the Federal District Court, sitting in Newark, enter a preliminary injunction stopping DHS from taking any substantive steps towards conversion of the warehouse unless and until it had prepared the required environmental assessment under NEPA. In a nearly identical case brought by the state of Maryland, a federal judge in that state had issued such a preliminary injunction and harshly criticized DHS for its failure to follow the law. Just hours before the New Jersey Attorney General's and Township's motion was scheduled to be heard by the court, on Tuesday, May 12th, DHS, undoubtedly sensing that they would also lose before this court, agreed to enter into a legally binding stipulation which requires DHS to halt all conversion work on the warehouse unless and until it has produced the required environmental assessment. In effect, they flew the white flag and avoided what would have probably been another humiliating court defeat had the hearing been held as scheduled. DHS is now only allowed to erect temporary fencing around the facility and to perform routine groundskeeping and maintenance activities. Although nobody can say with any certainty how long it will take DHS to perform the environmental assessment, we believe it will probably be 6 to 9 months if they undertake a serious effort. It is actually our hope that when DHS and its consultants examine the lack of sewerage and water capacity, among other factors, they will realize that the effort to purchase and convert the warehouse never should have been undertaken in the first place, and they will abandon their efforts. In any event, members of the public, the AG, and the township will all have the ability to review and comment on the environmental assessment if and when it is produced. And if it reflects an incomplete or shoddy review, then the AG and township will undoubtedly ask the court to require DHS to prepare an assessment that complies with the law. In the meantime, we would urge that the state, the township, and the citizens of Roxbury and surrounding towns keep a sharp eye on the warehouse to ensure that any violations by DHS of the stipulation be brought to the attention of AG and ultimately the court. If you're not subscribed, go to no-roxbury.jails.com. We're going to be changing that at some point, but it'll forward to it so you can subscribe to our email list.
Thank you.
Susanna Oliveri, 21 King Road Landing. I spent the last 2 days at Delaney Hall this weekend. Since none of you will go there, I need you to understand exactly what is happening inside that private prison and what is coming to Roxbury if you do not act immediately on zoning ordinances. Because this facility is run by GEO Group, standard prison regulations are bypassed. Basic human necessities are not provided. Detainees must pay GEO Group for hygiene items like soap, toilet paper, feminine products. They have to pay to take a shower. To afford them, they are forced to work for $1 a day. Forcing human beings to use the bathroom without soap or toilet paper creates a severe risk of highly contagious fecal infections which spread like wildfire. Go home tonight and ask your wives, daughters, and granddaughters what they would do without toilet paper, pads, or tampons, and let them explain that to you. Here's what's coming to Roxbury if you do not get serious about local zoning. I personally witnessed a Bearcat armored vehicle armed with a gunner ready to fire on an automated pepperball rifle. I saw masked armed agents cosplaying as police in riot gear, carrying retractable batons and zip ties, and antagonizing the crowds, laughing, smirking, and joking while human beings were suffering. I watched them push peaceful protesters to the ground. They fired pepper balls directly towards the singing resistance, a group of middle and older-aged women peacefully singing songs. Senator Andy Kim was shoved and pepper sprayed while trying to shield peaceful citizens. I saw this with my own eyes. This is the reality coming to Roxbury. Hundreds of families will line up multiple times a week to see their loved ones. Mutual aid tents will be set up by volunteers to provide shelter and warm meals for infants, children, and the elderly. Will you provide porta potties because they're not allowed inside to use bathrooms? When this crisis hits our doorstep and ICE rolls down Route 46 in armored vehicles with guns at the ready, the national media, families, and the citizens of Roxbury will be calling for you. Where will you be? And don't think it's just immigrants' rights protesters. Aggressive counter protesters will also show up. Maybe you recall Charlottesville, once synonymous with UVA, now synonymous with murder and protesting. Which of you will stand outside the prison and explain why people are being detained without warrants, without due process, and without basic dignity in your town? You haven't had the courage to speak about this prison at local meetings, and you avoid all questions and hide behind a useless resolution. Why should we believe you will handle your duties once the chaos arrives? Where will you be? Get prepared or pass the zoning ordinances. This is what's coming to Roxbury.
Hi, I'm Corey Hervig. I'm from Parsippany. I really struggled with what to say tonight. I've stood up here a few times and talked about how we're all working off of the information we're seeing in our personal echo chambers. But this past weekend, my echo chamber was busted wide open. I spent the better part of the last 4 days at Delaney Hall. So tonight, I'm talking about my own personal experience, not information that I'm getting from other sources. And I think it's critically important for you all to hear firsthand accounts of what ICE is doing there. I assume you've seen some of the news coming out of Delaney Hall from this past weekend. But what you didn't see if you weren't there was this. I stood a few feet in front of Senator Andy Kim and tried to listen to what he was saying while a soldier armed with a pepper ball rifle sitting inside a goddamn armored vehicle trained his weapon directly on Senator Kim and those of us around him. I watched agents armed with sidearms and batons in their hands shove and push peaceful protesters to the ground unprovoked while Senator Kim called for de-escalation. I watched crowds of people run toward me as the slow creep of pepper spray blanketing the air seeped into my lungs, eyes, and nose, sending me and everyone around me gasping for air, coughing and sneezing uncontrollably, and closing our eyes as water poured from them. All of this because the people inside Delaney Hall were brave enough to tell us about the unbelievably inhumane treatment they're receiving inside the gates. They've been on a hunger and labor strike for 5 days now, and Geo Group, who operates the facility, has been shamefully retaliating against them. Protests have continued 24 hours a day since Friday. I want to be clear, I am not some radical anarchist who takes to the streets lightly. I've never been arrested, I've never found myself sideways with law enforcement. I'm literally just a mom. I'm an ordinary person with an extraordinary sense of empathy, and when I see people suffering, I feel compelled to help, so I showed up. I want to make it abundantly clear to you that there are hundreds of people like me here in our area, ordinary moms with a strong sense of empathy and a moral compass, and we will show up when ICE and DHS inevitably treat detainees held here in Roxbury the way that they treat detainees everywhere else like Delaney Hall. And when we do, it's your local emergency services that will be left to deal with it when pepper spray and tear gas launched in your own backyard. It's your streets that will be barricaded as ordinary citizens try desperately to keep people from being illegally detained and tortured by federal agents. And it's your police chief who will be put in the impossible situation of figuring out how to keep the community safe from these lawless, violent, masked men hell-bent on throwing moms like me to the ground in a cloud of pepper spray. This probably sounds like I'm being dramatic. I assure you I'm not. This is the reality of the situation when ICE comes to town. So once again, I urge you to take this threat seriously and to do absolutely every single thing you can in your power to keep this facility from opening.
Thank you.
William Angus, Hackettstown. Just before I get into my remarks, I just wanted to clarify these visits that are going to be made weekly. Are they external or are they internal inside the building to check for compliance? Do we know?
The visits are external.
Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you. Recently, the OAG and DHS reached an agreement to do the required environmental studies necessary before taking action to convert the warehouse into a detention center. You may think that the work is done, but we know different. The protests, the public pressure, and attendance here at Town Council will continue. We refuse to let our elected officials, whether it is you or whether it is the governor, the public or the media, forget what is at stake here. This weekend's hunger strike and violent action by ICE against protesters is a stark reminder of what Roxbury's future will be if we do not continue to do the work. The people who made the ICE lawsuit possible and bought valuable time are standing behind me tonight. They are the residents who attended rallies, researched legal options, monitored activity at the site, and kept the public informed. You want to claim credit for this month's victory, but you did very little to stop or delay the warehouse conversion when it mattered most early on. For weeks after the Washington Post article exposed the plan, the mayor responded by saying, we will not comment on rumors. Meanwhile, we organized, gathered information, and sounded the alarm. The only reason that you were even able to identify the location, tour the site, and were able to meet with ICE that day was because we provided that information to you at a town council meeting. Even after the threat was confirmed, the council and town attorney declined to pursue ordinances or legal actions that could have slowed or complicated the sale. And by the time you did take action, it was too late. Offering tax incentives to Delphin after the deal was already underway didn't work, and we lost nearly $2 million in tax revenue. Nearly every meaningful development in this fight has come from the pressure and grassroots organizing, not from you. Cory Booker said that he did not hear from you despite your statements otherwise. And when they came to us, Cory Booker's office said that they came to you, offered their help, and you declined their assistance. Project Ninja has provided crucial information to state and federal officers which allowed them to file their lawsuit. We have kept the public informed through the media and public engagement. You decline interview requests from the press, and calls to town offices go unanswered, emails are dismissed derisively as spam, and requests for transparency are ignored. Rather than treating concerned residents as partners, you act with disdain toward the people doing the real work. Even now, there are unanswered questions. Will you enforce the original warehouse restrictions limiting the use of the access road? There are still ordinances that can be passed to ensure that they don't go elsewhere in town if environmental reviews go badly for them. We urge you to appoint a community liaison to answer these questions to the townspeople. Thank you.
Mr. Angus. Mr. Murphy.
I do not have disdain for you. I just wanted to clarify the record. I personally, with some council members, toured the warehouse with Senator Booker and his staff, with Senator Kim and his staff. So to say that we haven't been in touch with Senator Booker and his staff is refused, they sat at this table and we met them up there. I have pictures with them. So I'm saying it respectfully. Like, so some of the things you're saying, we are all partners in this. We all are fighting for the same thing. So I just want to correct the record. We, in fact, met with both senators at the facility and have had multiple conversations with their teams. Not just when they were here post that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrick Gallagher. My address is 49 Zellers Road, Long Valley, New Jersey, and I'm with the North Jersey chapter of the Democratic Socialists of America. There's a lot of power and responsibility to being executives and council members at the local level. I know that the threat of DHS from the federal government may seem overwhelming, but there are actionable steps that many local activists are hoping that you pass. I have a few suggested ordinances. For instance, amending zoning regulations to prohibit detention facilities, a visual blight ordinance banning razor wire and electrical fences, a prohibition on stationary generators over 500 kilowatts from being located within 500 feet of residential property lines, and a prohibition on the installation of surveillance devices on the facility. So I'm just asking that you consider those ordinances while the warehouse cannot be converted to a concentration camp just yet due to the environmental review that still has to take hold. There's valuable time here that can be used to impede DHS from pursuing this camp in the event that the lawsuit isn't effective. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Olivia Dorico. I live in the lower Berkshire Valley. I have this, I'm not going to hold it up the entire time, though I'm only human. So I was prepared to come tonight with words of anger, but frankly, I'm tired and my heart hurts. So I don't have it in me tonight. I just want to talk about what I saw when I went to Delaney Hall this weekend. So we first went on Saturday, probably around 2 p.m., and the tenor was pretty calm. You know, it was organized. People were behaving respectfully. ICE, however, was not. I watched as ICE was taunting and harassing Gabby, the wife of Martin Soto, who was being held there. So what happened is he was supposed to be released, and they tricked him into signing the papers because he doesn't understand English very well. And it was a transfer order. And I watched as ICE belittled her, as they screamed at her. She's 4 or 5 months pregnant. Is this acceptable behavior, regardless of whether you agree with our stance? Is this acceptable behavior anywhere? One of the most vulnerable populations is pregnant women. She does not deserve this. Her children deserve a father. She deserves to have her husband back. If you want to talk about, preserving community, preserving families, preserving everything that is meaningful in Roxbury, that affects us, that makes us want to live here, this is the kind of thing that by, not taking a strong enough stance against this facility, you are inviting into the community. And I understand that, people are still ignorant of what's happening, and that I can absolutely forgive. But willful ignorance is reprehensible, and I simply will not accept that. And I understand, you're doing what is in your power. I frankly do not believe you're doing enough. This was incredibly disturbing. We got a message around 12:30 a.m., mind you. I was still awake after returning home that evening, that they needed help. And I went back out there, and not because anyone is paying me. And you know what? An ICE agent said that to me. He said, "Who's paying you?" My normal job pays me. I'm not getting paid to protest. I'm doing this because I fundamentally believe that this is the right thing to do. And I think that reveals a lot more about the ICE agents than it does about us, because they don't believe that anyone could believe in something so strongly that they would get out of bed in the middle of the night, drive 45 minutes, and stand there to support people who need their help. And luckily enough, I was in a position I could do that. But that's the community that is here with me. We are willing to do those things. And when I reached out earlier, when I was struggling emotionally after seeing what I've seen this weekend, people were there to support me. And that is beautiful. And that should be what Roxbury is known for. It shouldn't be about harassing vulnerable populations of pregnant women who want their families members back. It should be about community and uplifting each other. And I just don't know at this point how to explain that you're supposed to care about other people. Thank you.
My name is Sam Barron. I'm with the North Jersey chapter of Democratic Socialists of America. I stand here today also as a person who was down at Boone, New Jersey. I stand here as a person who is also down at Delaney Hall on Sunday and Monday. I stand here as a person who was maced in the face by ICE agents after peacefully standing there and complying with their orders. But I'm not here to bring attention to myself. I'm here to try to put myself in your shoes and to encourage you to consider passing further ordinances to prohibit the construction of detention centers in the town of Roxbury. And the reason for that is I witnessed as I was down at Delaney Hall how ICE and DHS are not good faith actors and they're not good faith negotiators. I witnessed them lie to U.S. Senator Andy Kim's face when he was trying to negotiate between protesters and ICE. ICE told him to his face that all they were going to do was allow employees of the facility leave that detention center if the protesters parted. And what happened? What happened was Senator Kim was lied to, and vans with blacked out windows, tinted blacked out windows, not employee cars, with lights flashing, left that facility. We don't know who is in those cars, but we do know, as other residents have stated, that people are being forced to sign orders that they might not fully understand, that might be orders of self-deportation. Those people could be in those cars and we don't know where they are, and their families might not know where they are. So my point is that you are not negotiating with good faith negotiators. You're negotiating with people who, at the very least, are willing to lie to a United States Senator. What could they possibly lie to about to a township committee? That's kind of what I'm trying to say here. Secondly, what I'd like to say is that you are inviting two types of chaos into this town. The first is the chaos that we know goes on at a detention facility like Delaney Hall. We're talking about unexplained deaths. We're talking about unexplained miscarriages. We're talking about HIV medication that's being withheld from detainees there. Secondly, the type of chaos that you're inviting is not so much chaos, but organized resistance. And I think what you don't realize is that there is organization behind the resistance to Delaney Hall, and there will be organization to the building of a detention center in Roxbury. And you're inviting all of the things that other residents have pointed out here today. You're inviting mutual aid tents outside of the facility. You're inviting protesters outside of the facility, and you're inviting the violence that we know ICE conducts against protesters, as we witnessed earlier at Delaney Hall. You're inviting this into your community, and as a resident said earlier, right, Roxbury's name will be on this. I urge you to pass further ordinances.
Lauren Sang, Grover Street, Tucson. I come here mostly to say my piece about the detention center that would possibly be in the warehouse in Roxbury. I have nothing new to add. I do appreciate everybody that has gone to Delaney Hall this weekend and has been there, because we need that right now. I feel like a broken record every week, and I've said really all that I needed to say. You just spoke about all the lovely things we have going on in this community. And we have going on in the future, we have in the past. It's beautiful, and it's what I love about our town. And all that will be overshadowed by this detention center. It is not what our town is going to be known for. We don't want it here, and we ask for you to fight like hell to avoid it coming here. What I see happening at Delaney Hall is horrific, and it doesn't belong there, and it doesn't belong here. We need to be on the correct side of history. And I appreciate if you would try to fight a little harder and be a little bit more open with us and tell us what's going on, because I do feel like people don't know. I have spoken to neighbors, and they, again, say, I thought this was resolved, the resolution was passed, that means it's not happening, right? I go, no, it's not. That's not what happened. And I tell them more, and they're like, oh, I have no idea. Because they don't follow up, they say one thing, and then they think that's what's happened. So, any more encouragement I can give you to get the townspeople involved and know what's going on, I think there'd be more outrage. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Atish Gupta. I live in Newton, New Jersey, and I wanted to speak about two things. The first is the request for ordinances that will prevent ICE's continued use of this facility. So you guys received possibly hundreds of emails this past week. You could receive calls. Some of them went to voicemail boxes. Some of them went to machines that haven't been set up. And this is not new, right? The people who have been coming to these meetings have been asking you to pass ordinances. Use your legislative power to prevent the use of this facility for months, and you have not taken a single action besides a perfunctory resolution and riding the coattails of a lawsuit with the Attorney General. I mean, yeah, maybe it's bullshit, but you haven't taken any legislative action. That's for certain. And now, I've seen 60, 70-year-old women getting shot by pepper balls getting tear gassed outside of Delaney Hall, and you guys can't pass an ordinance. You're cowards. That's what I'll say about that. Second thing is that we have had volunteers outside of the facility for every weekday for the past 2 weeks, observing the ICE vehicles that are going in and out. On 4 separate occasions, we've seen up to 20 vehicles enter and exit that facility. Some of these vehicles have extremely tinted out license plates to the point where you can't read them. We observed 2 vehicles that had the same plates, and today, they really sealed the deal because we saw a car that had no plates at all. So this is, I don't have to tell you it's a violation of the law. I would strongly advise you to send your local police department to go issue tickets to them at the very least for this behavior. And the reason they're doing this is because we have rapid responders all across New Jersey, and responding to situations where these guys get out of cars, I saw a video last week of someone getting dragged out of his car, beaten on the ground, people who tried to intervene to stop this from happening, getting pepper sprayed and beaten themselves. These people are staging in your town. We've observed these vehicles being used in kidnappings across New Jersey. So you have to do something about this. You have to stop ICE from staging in your town to go do kidnappings and do ultra-violence all across New Jersey. It's ridiculous. And yeah, you got the police over here ready to like mess us up if we say the F word up here, but you won't get them to issue tickets? Ridiculous.
I'm just here to share my experience. I do not live in Roxbury, Pamela Bank. I live on Pleasant Hill Road, 7 miles from here in Chester. I quit my enterprise risk management corporate job to stay home and take care and focus on my children. Instead, I've been working to aid and support other people's families directly impacted by ICE. They destroyed a family in my Chester hometown. One. God knows how many as well. Majority of people detained are not criminals. Over 70% not criminals. There are neighbors. No one is safe when ICE is around. Our neighbors are living in fear, hiding, scared, and they should be. I escorted a woman to her immigration hearing because we were scared that she would not come out of the building. She has a little girl at home that needs her, 7 years old. At that immigration hearing, I was intimidated by ICE agents. All I was doing was standing. They did not want me there. They threatened forceful removal of me. Me. They threatened forceful removal. Big men. They needed big men to come out and scare me, to get me to leave a public space in a public building. I was standing quietly in a hallway, and I was only there to make sure she had a translator, and I could get her home. I complied not to jeopardize her circumstances and her safety. If they don't have translators, they can't advocate. Due process is not there. This was in a public building, so it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter if you think you're safe or not. You're not. Just being around these ill-trained officers is dangerous. The detention centers, way worse. I've been to Delaney Hall. Core Civic Geo Group have no regard for any humanitarian responsibility that they have. They're not providing people with food or clean water. Mothers are able to see their babies maybe for a few minutes. If we're talking about babies, maybe for a few minutes a day. People with existing or new medical conditions are not being provided minimum or any medical care. We're talking about people with HIV, cancer, pregnant women. Pregnant women. These are crimes against humanity. That's exactly what will happen here if you allow them to open a closed detention center. I don't know what you're doing, what you're not doing. That's not why I'm here. I just want you to know what I have seen in These agents are outside.
Thank you. Get through. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Charlie?
If anyone else wishes to get on, please stand up now for the closed public minutes.
Good evening, Diana May, 30 Wistful Lake East, Ledger, here in Roxbury. We've heard a few people say tonight that we still talk to neighbors and they don't know what's going on, which to us who are living this and breathing this every day is totally unfathomable. Anything you could do to push information out to the community would be much appreciated. I know that we are updating the website, do appreciate that, but that does require people to come to the website to go looking for it. Before all this, sorry, I was never perusing your lovely town council website. So press releases, put out things on the Township of Roxbury social media pages, anything, even just factual information, this is where it stands. A lot of really great headway has been made, and I think we can celebrate that, so that would be much appreciated. As a Roxbury resident, I'm concerned it's getting closer. We see it coming closer to our community. We had the detainment in Landing several months ago, and we still don't have the details on what happened there. And just this weekend, a couple was detained. They are restaurant owners in Dover. That leads me to believe they were filing their taxes, they did all the paperwork, but just being the wrong color or being of the wrong descent is enough to detain people. There are plenty of people in Delaney Hall that have all the legal paperwork, they're doing all the right things, and they're being held for months and months and months. And it's getting closer to our own community, and that terrifies me. And to the point that Aktesh was saying about the ICE vehicles, I wanted to bring that to your attention. I'm glad you brought that up. The fact that they have no plates, or the plates are completely obscured. So, we have people regularly driving by or living very near that warehouse, and they are reporting, and they are saying that they saw a plate covered by bright orange piece of tape or fabric. So they're going out of their way to remain anonymous. And we've seen in Minneapolis, and we've seen in lots of areas how dangerous that is, that anonymity, the covering of their faces despite the ban that Governor Sherrill passed, the covering of license plates despite a long law in New Jersey. It's for a reason, and it's not to do the right thing and to follow the law and to treat people humanely. And I'm really concerned that this is coming to our town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bonnie Randa, an 18-year-old high school student crying and saying she just wanted to graduate in her senior year. A pregnant woman unable to get full OBGYN medical support. A woman who had a miscarriage in the detention facility and was left to manage it all on her own. A mom not allowed to spend more than a few minutes with her 4-month-old. A husband of an American citizen's wife. A carton with the milk inside that was congealed solid. The expiration date was on Sunday. A man there for nearly a year with no movement in his legal efforts. A document showing next Tuesday's court docket with 74 cases before one judge in one day, which averages about 5 minutes per case. A man telling me ICE is trying to deport him to the Democratic Republic of the Congo, where there is an active Ebola outbreak. He's from South America. Numerous people who were arrested, scheduled interviews for green cards after just trying to follow the formal process. A family unable to find out what hospital their family was sent to. ICE said they could not give any medical updates to families of hospitalized detainees. The Statue of Liberty as I left the facility to drive home. That's from Senator Andy Kim, who has been there to help you guys with making sure this facility in Roxbury doesn't open. We need to treat humans as humans. However, in a post Monday evening on X, Mullen repeated DHS's claims that there was no hunger strike or poor conditions. He said Democratic officials in New Jersey, quote unquote, chose to spend their Memorial Day weekend smearing ICE law enforcement. In response, Kim said he wished Mullen would have called him, quote unquote, because I would tell him about the people that I talked to that are engaged in this hunger strike and protest. I know you guys have not gone to Delaney Hall, whether you agree or not. I know some of you have openly stated here that you support ICE and what ICE is doing. This is what ICE is doing. And you can support ICE, but I don't think you can support what's going on with human beings. And what my friends who were at Delaney Hall this weekend didn't talk about is that people were being dragged down. A woman who's a physician was dragged down. She did a video on Facebook for trying to help people. And it doesn't just amazing to the people who were there this weekend. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to all of you guys who were there. But it's impacting everybody. It truly is. And Senator Bucco, I'm addressing this to you, your senator. I called on Friday night begging. I know he may not have received a call because our representatives don't necessarily receive calls. But we're begging you. These are people's lives. People are dying. And all. People are being murdered. And all. Really what it is. And all. Please pay attention. Thank you. I'm done.
My name is Sierra Wilson. I live in Bud Lake. Because none of you have been to Delaney Hall, I will tell you what is happening at Delaney Hall. A few days ago, there was a cry for help. Why was there a cry for help? Because people are being denied insulin. They're being denied treatment. A woman had a miscarriage and was denied medical support. There are minors there that are being denied education and schooling. There are people there being starved, tortured, and abused. So there was a hunger strike developed by a man named Martin Soto. Martin Soto has a wife who is 5 months pregnant. Her name is Debbie. Since then, the protests have been peaceful. They started off as vigils. However, one night, without being prompted, ICE agents started spraying pepper spray. I was there yesterday, on Monday, and it was peaceful until it wasn't. And why wasn't it peaceful? Because a man got up and took a picture of an ICE agent. That's all he did, was take a picture. He was right in front of me. The person directly in front of me took a picture of an ICE agent, as he is legally allowed to do. The ICE agent then took out his baton and whacked this man. Of course, I ran. I don't want to get hit. No one in this room deserves to get hurt for exercising their rights. The tensions then escalated. Andy Kim and Representative Nally Powell arrived. They were denied entry into Delaney Hall. They were denied entry despite having constitutional and congressional oversight. Andy Kim was pepper sprayed. Andy Kim was beaten. He came out to protect a woman who had been shoved to the ground. He ran to her aid and was pepper gassed. He came out later and said his hand was hurt, he didn't know what happened, his hand was beaten, somehow. There are people in this room that were pepper gassed. I was not one of them because, again, I was out of the way. But these people were sitting there, non-violently, not aggressively. I saw it with my own eyes. If you are in disbelief, if you don't believe me because you think all of us are radicals with pink hair and tattoos and nose piercings and what else, I encourage you, go to Delaney Hall and see for yourself. Because if this is what they are doing to a U.S. senator, a federal official, what do you think they are doing behind closed doors? This was in view of the public. There were over 100 people there. There was PBS there, CNBC, MSN, a ton of New Jersey sites that I can't name all of them, ABC, New York Times, all of the acronyms you can think of, they were all there. If this is what they are doing in front of an international audience, what are they doing behind closed doors? Thank you.
My name is Deb Woodruff and I live in Succossana, and I kind of feel silly being up here with these two questions based on all of the good news we've been hearing. But as a resident and as your constituent, I want to let you know that your silence in not communicating with us, I think, has caused a big rift in understanding. And
when you don't talk and you don't explain yourselves, the mind starts to wander and it always goes down the wrong path. So a lot of people have said a lot of things that I don't think are fair to you guys, but at the same token, by you not addressing us and giving us any type of information, it leads people to think the worst. My other point is, as a constituent, I am deeply disappointed that I have to turn to a volunteer organization to find information about what's going on. I am not fully ignorant about what's happening, but I don't have all the facts. And I think there needs to be some communication from the people that are elected to represent the township, who are representing us, the people, in the court, in this case, to give us information. And so I don't know what the right forum is, but we learn about all the snow removals. There's tons of ways to communicate with us, and by not communicating with us and making us go to public sources that are run by volunteers is not right. We should be getting information from the source. And it could be as simple as the timelines. It could be simple as I didn't know you met with Cory Booker. How would I know that? Unless I followed him on Instagram. So I'm asking you, please, I understand you're in a difficult situation with public knowing what's going on, but you've got to walk the line and you've got to go to your constituents and let them understand that you are fighting for them, because I don't believe all of you sitting there are not trying to get this to stop. I really think you are trying to do that, but by not telling us that, by not keeping us informed, we're all thinking the worst, and it's pretty scary. And I just want you to know, I am a Roxbury resident, and that's all I think. Thanks.
For the most up-to-date information, you can go to the
I have been to the website, and I printed out what's on the website, and it's nothing more than that case. And I went to the governor's website, and it's nothing more than that case. But if I'm going to be faced with this in the next 6 months or 8 months, and my family's going to be faced with this, your website does me no good. I have more information tonight than I have gotten off of your website, and I do check your website regularly. Thank you.
Sorry, your last name again? Ceruto.
I appreciate everything you guys have been doing in collaborating with the state on the lawsuit. They urge you to do more, consider these ordinances as opposed to a backup plan to make the lawsuit more successful. I was one of the few who was at Delaney Hall for just a few hours yesterday as well, and we ended up leaving, what must have been just very shortly before the crowd was pepper sprayed. I've been to a number of peaceful protests over the last 11 years. Yesterday's was the first time that I've ever found myself in front of an armored vehicle with some type of gun pointed at my head. This is coming to Roxbury if this facility goes through. I can only imagine, like, if that's how peaceful protesters are being treated outside, what the conditions inside actually are. There have been reports of undrinkable water, spoiled and insufficient food, lack of basic hygiene items, limited access to medical care, no due process, psychological and physical abuse. This is coming to Roxbury. Back in March, ICE took a man from Delaney to University Hospital in Newark because he had pneumonia and experienced a seizure. At the hospital, his hands and feet were tied to the bed so he couldn't use the bathroom or even sit up or turn over when he had to vomit. On top of that, his family wasn't notified of where he was or that he was sick. They were only told that he was no longer at Delaney, and the hospital staff were told to withhold medical information from his family. At 2 other detention centers, a man was given only acetaminophen for weeks to treat an arm fracture that occurred during his violent arrest, and another man died of sepsis after being given only ibuprofen for 2 weeks to treat a tooth infection. This is the kind of inhumane treatment that's coming to Roxbury. Here's what else is coming to Roxbury based on reports from detention centers in other states. Loud and unsanitary conditions with insect infestations and rapid spread of diseases. There have been measles and tuberculosis outbreaks, as well as flu and COVID. There's been reports of severe overcrowding with as many as 50 to 60 detainees in cells. There's been sexual assault of detainees by detention center staff. There's been use of restraint chairs. There's been children living in traumatizing prison-like conditions with minimal education. There's also been kids left behind in cars in hot or freezing weather when their parents were abducted from vehicles. There's also been security guards placing bets over which detainees would be the next to die by suicide. This is all coming to Roxbury. This will be your legacy if you don't do everything you possibly can to stop this.
your neighbor, as someone who cares, someone who grew up in an interfaith family. And I know that a lot of people, when they hear that this is a concentration camp, kind of recoil from that. But coming from my Jewish background, I have to tell you that these are what concentration camps look like. What everyone has been talking about in Delaney Hall. One of the definitions of concentration camps are people who are imprisoned based on their minority status. Look it up. And if you ever wondered what you would do during World War II, this is your time. This is your test. And I have a master's degree in Jewish Christian Studies. I'm going into another master's degree for social work. I believe in social justice. I have extreme empathy, and I understand the tough position that you are in. But if you wanted a sign from whatever you believe in, whether you call it God or something else, this is your sign. This is your time to rise to the occasion. You have the power. I grew up watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and I loved how the other woman was talking about being a neighbor, and this is the neighborhood. You're the helpers. This is your opportunity, and it's time to take it. There are things you can do. I understand that you've started to do some things. I've heard people asking you to speak out, be more transparent, to pass ordinances. These are easy things that you can do for your community and your surrounding communities. This not only affects Roxbury, this affects people like me in Jefferson. And I heard other towns as well. So I'm begging you to do more with your power. You are elected and entrusted to protect not just your town, but your neighbors as well. This is your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any executive session? No? Motion to adjourn? Second. All in favor? Aye. Have a good night, everyone.